Hello, everyone. My name is Charlie Bacon, and I'm an associate with Sequence Financial Specialist, a boutique investment banking firm headquartered in Charleston, South Carolina. And with us today, I have one of the founding members of the firm, Michael Grady. Would you like to share a little background information on yourself?
Good morning, Charlie. Yes, my name is Michael Grady. I've been a CPA since the 70s and got into investment banking arena in the mid-90s, actually because of my clients seemed to have that need with the CPA firm. And so I was always more of a consultant than a compliance person in the CPA arena, helping the clients identify their needs and what they, and by identifying what they needed, they needed to raise capital and sometimes need to sell the business or buy a business. And so I kind of matriculated into that arena and have been there for the last 20, 25 years.
Thank you very much. I guess my first question for you would be, how long has Sequence Financial been around, and how was the business originally formed?
Right. Sequence has been in existence since 2005. It was originally formed to raise capital for small, small businesses, particularly in South Carolina and across the southeastern United States. It felt like it was an underserved market. Gene King was one of the founding members of Sequence that started in 2005, and he and I met up in 2009 and saw the a good combination of what he brought to the table and what I did with my CPA and financial background with his business development and understanding of the multiple businesses that he had been in. So in 2009, we merged the two companies together to help businesses buy and sell businesses and to actually raise capital and refinancing.
In what ways would you say the company has evolved over the last 5 to 7 years from day one when you partnered up with Gene to where we sit here in 2020?
Interesting enough, Gene and I got together in a unique time in the M&A market when the economic decline that happened in 2008 and 9 with the financial crisis that occurred. And so we immediately tried to help those companies that needed to restructure. So we went from being what was traditional a boutique M&A market to helping people find capital to survive and to get things turned around and to find common partners that would go with them. As that developed, the M&A market was still slow to come around. And as a result, we started looking at alternative ways to raise capital. And we got into some what we call alternative investment market, where we were helping sponsors raise capital for their real estate transactions. And so that has become a much bigger core of our business than in the past, although we are still actively involved in the M&A space.
Now, I know you referenced earlier you spent a large chunk of your career as a CPA. How would you say some of the different talents and skills you had from that arena have kind of naturally transitioned into the investment banking world?
It is interesting that the CPAs should have the background to be in this space, but traditionally they have not been to a large degree, simply because the CPA's personalities are much more of a structured and less of a marketing type of base and less of a selling type of arena. And so as I mentioned earlier, I've been a lot into the consulting business and been helping clients with their whole business structure, so that it was easier for me to transition. My personality was such that I enjoyed getting out and negotiating and marketing and looking at that aspect of the business. But being a CPA in that background, I always felt like it gave me a step ahead of the competition because I was thinking taxes before the transaction even began. The structure of the transaction can do a lot toward what the net proceeds get. My clients got the point that the net after tax was much more important than what the selling price was. So there were a number of times where I was able to get the structure the way my client wanted it to save taxes instead of having the deal struck and then all of a sudden having to deal with the difficult taxes. I've told people quite a number of times that I've done more in saving the net proceeds from the tax structure than I have from negotiating the price up.
Okay, appreciate that. Definitely seems like a natural segue from the two different industries. As you touched on earlier, most businesses are constantly evolving in the services they're providing. And recently, in the last couple of years, Sequence decided to add an international component to its investment banking services. Can you touch a little bit more on some of, high level those services and what went into that decision-making process?
Yeah, actually, Charlie, we spent a long time into that. I guess that was the conservative nature of our firm, but we spent a good 5 to 6 years just developing how in the world would we get in with the different structures that were available to bring in international marketing. We found that there was a government program called an EB-5 where foreigners could invest in America and get green cards. And so we explored that, but that was not an easy process. That was something that quite a lot of regulations and things that you had to come up with and understand, and we didn't want to just jump into it. And that's where somewhere along the line we met up with a gentleman named Mike Zinnick, who had a CPA background, interesting enough, but also had been into this program. And so we have allied with him to help us with understanding more of that international market. We found that in addition to the EB-5 program, there was also programs from E2 that allows a company to come in and buy a business, or an individual to come in and buy a business, and also through the EB-1C program also provides another avenue for foreign investors, as well as an L1. All of these will be discussed in more detail in a later video, but we found it quite intriguing that the different ways we could get foreign investors to invest not only in these specific programs, but into the regular investment channels that are available in the United States.
Yeah, it seems like a very fascinating and constantly evolving industry. So I think, like you said, we'll be touching on that in some future videos.
Yeah, and it does get involved with the M&A process. That's what the natural tie for us was, is that not only did it just help foreign investment, but it was getting into companies in the United States that were growing or trying to expand capital or trying to develop new business structures. So we felt like it was a natural tie-in to what we were doing already in the M&A market.
As we sit here in early May of 2020, is there one particular segment of Sequence that you are most excited about seeing how it evolves over the next couple of years?
Charlie, that's where I probably am most interested in, is that we believe that we have, each segment has its own particular structure that can grow in. There's no, in fact, the diversity of what we can do, I think, protects the company and makes us stronger, whether it be the foreign international combining with the M&A. We have folks that can help with the startup part of a program in the financial services arena in particular. We have the buy side and sell side representation, and we are getting into these special exemptions under the SEC, where we can have a Reg A offering that offers an opportunity to the public to invest in some opportunities they wouldn't have otherwise. And then you get a little more specialty into the Reg D offerings, where you have very structured private placement memorandums that come in. So all aspects of that tie in together. And I think that's the strength of our company, is that we seem to have avenues to grow in each of those areas.
It was a pleasure going over these different questions with you. And everyone watching, be on the lookout for our next video coming soon, where I'll be introducing Mike Zinnick, the new and upcoming principal of Sequence Financial.
Thank you, Charlie. I enjoyed the conversation, and I look forward to hearing what Mike Zinnick has to say in our next video.